Bring on the dangerous one, Daryl Ruiter. Kayla, who is Daryl brought to us by?
Scheibman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Good morning, Daryl.
Hello, boys.
It's good to see you. Good to hear you. We can see on YouTube Live a second interview from Todd Monken on Tuesday. Go.
Well, that's the second interview that we know of. They're supposed to talk to Jesse Minter, I think, today. I just want him to pick a coach at this point.
Well, it's still very early.
I really am. I know. I'm already worn out by this.
Only one coach has been picked,
I know.
And we haven't even talked to the guys that are on, in person. We haven't talked to the guys that are on the team still playing.
Yeah.
So this thing could drag out another 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, that Monken is the first to get a second interview because that just doesn't seem to fit where I think that they're ultimately leaning, and that is one of these young, unproven, up-and-coming, thought to be the next Mike McVay or Sean McVay, type of coach. And, those are the Nate Scheelhaases, the Grant Udinskis, the Dan Pitchers of the world. It just feels like that's where this whole thing is going to head. So the fact that Monken is the first to get a second interview, that's quite interesting.
Why do you think that is? Because it's always been, well, we want to keep Jim. We got to keep Jim. Is there something there where Jim would like to work with a more experienced guy? Is there something there where maybe Jim can be? I'm sure he can be a demanding person. So is there something there where maybe they're afraid if they want to hold on to Jim so badly, which I'm saying if you don't want to hold on to him so badly and you're afraid there's going to be power struggles, just make him the damn head coach, but to hell with it. Are they afraid he might run over one of these 30-year-olds?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. The other thing, too, is Todd Monken's still under contract with the Baltimore Ravens. So if John Harbaugh would want him to go to the Giants, there's some work that needs to be done there. Just like Jim Schwartz is still under contract with the Cleveland Browns. And right now, the only way you are getting a change is if the team lets them go or they're hired to be head coaches. And it's a promotion, or I guess you got to kind of do what the Browns did a couple years ago with Bubba Ventrone and make him not only a coordinator but the assistant head coach, give him a fancier title or whatever. But, I don't know if I'm as crazy about Todd Monken being the head coach. I was fine with them interviewing him, but I don't know if he is,
Why is that? Why is that, Daryl? Daryl, you don't seem to be really excited.
He's never done it before. And I know none of these kids have done it before, but like I said, I kind of feel like they want to find, the up and coming genius in the league, so they can kind of say, hey, we found this guy. No one else really wanted to talk to them, which isn't true with some of these young kids. But yeah, I don't know about.
You don't seem to be really really passionate about anybody. We're talking about the head coach here.
I'm not, Ken. I'm not.
Why aren't you passionate about anybody? You can't get behind any of them. There's nothing you can get behind.
No, I can't.
Why not? Why? Why is that?
Because they're all unproven, and here's the other reason. They're not going anywhere. Like, this team's not going to be good next year, this coming season. They have no quarterback, no offensive line, no wide receivers. They got to rebuild the offense from the ground up, all right? And with all due respect to Jimmy Haslam giving his heartfelt speech about we're not tolerating losing here anymore, I got news for you. You're going to do a lot more losing before you start winning again. And I feel like they were better off keeping Kevin and keeping the status quo for just one more year. And then you make the change when
you believe
wanna,
that? Were you saying that after some of those terrible, embarrassing losses in December, early December, late November? You really believe that, Daryl?
Well, now that I'm looking at the field that they're looking at, now I do, yeah. Like, you really think that they're going to be better with Adam Dirty? You think they're going to be better with Dan Pitcher?
Hold on.
You think they're going to be better with Jesse Minter?
You didn't know
Grant Udinski? You didn't know Chris Scheelhaase? You think it's going to be better?
Hold on. You didn't know going in that this was going to be the crop of what we were looking at? When did I make that list, Tone? When did I make? And by the way, a lot of these guys are getting interviews in other places, not just the Browns. By the way.
No, I know.
I can go ahead. So what? Why didn't you?
I'm not going to rally around any of these guys. They're going to hire who they're going to hire.
Daryl, then why weren't you advocating then to hold on to Kevin back then?
Because honestly, I was indifferent then.
So what's the point of even having you on the air if you're not going to give me an opinion?
Well, I don't know which one of these guys, honestly, to get behind. I really don't. I mean, who am I supposed to be vouching for, Ken? Am I supposed to sell?
Well, I mean,
am I supposed to sell Adden Durden, who is the Alex Van Pelt of the Seattle Seahawks defensive staff?
You got 40,000 Browns fans listening to you right now, Daryl. They would like to hear you have an idea of who you would like. It's been a week. Give them an idea. They love the Browns. That's why they're listening to you right now. Give them a name.
I think it's going to be one of the three young guys. I've been very consistent with it, and they haven't talked to two of them yet. And that's Nate Scheelhaase, Grant Udinski, and Dan Pitcher. I think it's going to be one of those three guys.
And who would you like?
Flip a coin. Dan Pitcher, okay, great. But Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase aren't coming with him. So, okay, all these guys know X's and O's. They all know that. But for me, the separator has to be, can you lead a football team? It's why I don't want Mike McDaniel. You had the starting quarterback in Miami last year calling teammates out for lack of discipline and not doing what they're supposed to do. I don't need that here. So McDaniel doesn't interest me. Now, if you want to make him the offensive coordinator, okay, fine. I'll listen to that. But all these guys know X's and O's. I don't think that the Browns had an X's and O's problem. I really don't. I think that they had a fit / leadership, accountability, because they did. It was interesting listening to players after the season, in the locker room talk about, well, the next guy, hopefully they, hold guys accountable and lead and all those things. And they tried to couch it by saying we're not taking shots at Kevin, but, well, that's what you're saying is what you need. But I have no idea if any of these young guys have those intangibles. I know they know the X's and O's. They wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be getting these interviews if they didn't know X's and O's. But there's just not one guy right now of these 10. Right now we have 10. 6 have interviewed, 4 are requested, and one's going to probably get done today. Maybe they'll do a second one today, but there isn't one single guy that I can honestly sit here and pound the table for and say, that's the guy. And if you promote Jim Schwartz and you keep Tommy Rees as offensive coordinator, I just sit there and say, I don't know why you just didn't keep Kevin at this point. So, I just think that this whole coaching cycle is much more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because I didn't think 9 teams would be looking for head coaches. And I got news for you. There may be a 10th team yet looking for a head coach.
Daryl Ruiter joined us, our Browns beat reporter right now. So the Browns have 5 picks in the first 102, I think. Would you be interested in dealing one of those picks for Matt LaFleur, one of the best winning percentages in the history of the NFL?
Which pick though? That's important.
Oh, okay. Well, this is good.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, I'm not giving up 6.
No.
I don't know that I want to give up 24.
Right. Well, so this is interesting, because what I tried to sell, and look, Matt LaFleur, I've never been like, we've got to get that guy. But now, in comparison to a bunch of the guys we just went over, I'm like, maybe we need to think about this, and maybe there could also be a Malik Willis conversation as well. But with that said, yeah, Ken was dead set against trading. What is it? 24? Is that the second one?
Yeah.
So
that's the Jaguars pick for yeah.
And Kenny, you made the point. Need players, and there's no disputing what Ken said is 100% true.
They need to draft 2 wide receivers and 2 offensive linemen this year, just like they did 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks last year. So, if you can do that last year, you can do it this year.
So my question is, if you thought Matt LaFleur was a really good coach and culture guy, and certainly has the wins to kind of prove that he has been excellent as the head of that operation over there.
Right.
How valuable is he as a coach? Is he worth the 24th pick? Is that more valuable than one player who's not going to be a quarterback?
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, they're trying to do a contract extension with him, and I'd have to imagine, and I don't care about Jimmy Haslam's money; it's not mine, and I'm all for spending his. You're probably looking at a contract north of $15 million, which again, that's fine. Because look, the one guy I did pound the table for is John Harbaugh, and he's with the Giants for 5 years and $100 million. But I would probably maybe be willing to give up that second round pick for him. I still think you got to keep the 2 first rounders. But the complication you have now is the 2027 draft. And does Andrew Berry trade back from 6? Does he trade back from 24 to collect a 2027 first-round pick? So he has 2 of those in his back pocket with the quarterbacks now that are expected to be available in 2027. See, that's the wrinkle to this thing too now, is what does their plan be for getting one of these young quarterbacks in 2027 if, again, going by what Jimmy Haslam said, winning 3 and 5 games is not what we're going to be doing here. Well, you're not going to have a top pick in the draft if you don't end up with 3 or 5 wins after the 2026 season. So you either have to trade your way into it or you have to lose your way into it. And I have to think that that's where their focus and attention will be, is to try and get one of these young quarterbacks in 2026 with some of these quarterback decisions and these kids going back to school that have been made recently.
Just for correction, 5 picks, 107. I just looked it up because there's added picks in some of those other rounds. So 5 picks.
That's great. I think the
107.
Browns have the best draft capital of anyone for like the second straight year.
Boom. Andrew Berry doing work, Kenny.
Great. Excellent. Outstanding.
Win a lot of games with all them draft picks, don't they?
Are you on today?
Yes, I'll be in with Jeff Phelps again today.
Okay. Kayla, tell everybody.
Daryl Ruiter Report is brought to you by Scheelhaase Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Daryl, thank you very much for the time. We'll be listening at 10.
You bet, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too, Daryl Ruiter, joining us on the hotline.